Hey there, Sagittarius, Sagittarius Rising and Sagittarius Moon people. This is your weekly astrological and card horoscope for the week starting July 31st, 2017. And a quick reminder for all you Sagittarius people out there, remember, if you've made a purchase of the Tarot Home Study course, I'm going to be adding a few little extra tidbits onto that little bundle in your, so check your drop boxes. Sunday night, or Monday morning, I'll be throwing something up there around that time to, just kind of add a little bit more to the curriculum that's there. And I may be throwing up a few, one or two spreads and things like that every once in a while from now on. So, just continuing education opportunity there for you. And of course, if you do want to get a copy of the Home Study course, or you do want to get a session with me, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com. So, anywho, what is going on with your astrology this week? Well, early on in the week, Sunday going into Monday, we've got Venus in your 7th house of your closest one-on-one, your relationships. This is your BFF, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, business partner, roommate, forming a lovely sextile to Uranus, currently in your 5th house of love and romance. And there may be some unexpected breakthrough, some kind of completion or some kind of breakthrough for you in a love relationship as it relates to the two of you, or possibly even to a creative project you're working on, or perhaps even when it comes to having children, or with your children, being working with your children, or getting closer to your children, or possibly even planning on it. And the nice thing about this is this is happening fast. Now the challenge that comes from this, though, is that Venus is also forming a tense square to Chiron, currently in your 4th house of home and family. And this may be a breakthrough that does create some tension on the home front. Now, this could be something good for you and good for your partner, but it may make things a bit difficult to manage when it comes to how you handle your home base. Whether we're making room for a change with our kids or a change with each other, or perhaps this may even be a breakthrough that may, kind of create, some ruffle some feathers when it comes to y'all's family. That doesn't necessarily mean it's not worth doing, though. Okay, so just be prepared. Again, this is something out of the blue. This is, Uranus does things randomly. Later on in the week, we've got Thursday going into Friday, Jupiter forming a square with Capricorns, with Pluto in Capricorn, Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, I apologize. And remember, Jupiter is in your 11th house of friendships and social networking. And whenever Jupiter squares to Pluto retrograde, we have a can we have our cake and eat it too kind of moment. And it looks like some kind of opportunity with your 11th house and your earned income sector is coming up, where a friend or somebody who's been trying to help you realize some kind of big goal presents an opportunity that brings you a little bit too close to perhaps a person or an employment situation, an old coworker, an old financial endeavor that it feels like the old is coming back from the past, and you may feel uncomfortable about going back down that road, or working back with that person, or even being near that person again. And it may be hard for you to accept based on the association with that past. Don't let that keep you from actually doing a good thing for yourself, okay? So what's going on with your cards then this week? For your spiritual advice, you do have the card of the Swan. And the Swan is a card that talks about, yes, transformation. We've all heard about the ugly duckling, but this is sort of like the death card of the Druid animal oracle. We also see a need to understand and embrace an ending, or this week is going to be all about learning to embrace endings. Whether it's endings of patterns, endings of ways of thinking, endings of philosophies, and endings of lifestyles as you've come to know them, or perhaps even just had them be as a routine. The Swan, however, does indicate that this is being shed or displaced by an improvement. So we've got to make sure that we are not attached to things that can be improved upon by actually being replaced, as opposed to just being held like an old piece, like a well-worn shoe. Because the Swan card does talk about a need to pay attention to where, if we embrace our own transformations, or our own transitions, our own evolutions, and have more of a progress-oriented kind of mind, as opposed to trying to cling to the old, or might have been considered a mainstay, we're actually going to find that this week has a lot of rewards even though the only challenge seems to be releasing, you know, what we've held in our heads and our associations for so long. For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, we do have the Strength card reversed. And this week can prove to be a bit frustrating on the work front, I'm not going to lie, because the Strength card reversed can talk about a chance for us to get a bit over-encumbered. When we look at the Strength card reversed, we see a lot of people demanding commitments, that things that may not necessarily, they might not really be deserving of full 100% contractual types of commitments. You know, people might be asking for promises, and and just for us to be, you know, to be kind of like put in a pigeonhole or put in a box, and, you know, have these assignments kind of bound to us this week. And they could be bosses doing this, they could be clients and customers. Yes, the Strength card reverse can indicate an opportunity to make a lot of money very quickly. Mercury has just moved into your 10th house of career, so we've got lots of projects coming into you quickly, lots of money coming into you very quickly. But with the Strength card reverse, we want to make sure that while we are taking on these opportunities, again, we don't become over-encumbered. We don't take on everything and swear blood vows to everyone and everyone for the, you know, just for that opportunity, just for that chance, because the Strength card reverse is indicating some of these things are not meant to last the test of time, even though the people bringing these things to the table for you are assuming forever. For your communications with air, when it comes to your friends, your relatives, the others in your life, we've got the Queen of Wands upright. And it looks like a fellow fire sign, or potentially, or somebody who carries a lot of fire sign energy in their chart, so a Sagittarius like yourself, a Leo, or an Aries, or they might be a Leo moon, or an Aries rising, is kind of, the Queen of Wands is kind of coming in and sort of pushing your agenda for you out there, and she's had some kind of big breakthrough on your behalf. This could be a lead that you can take advantage of. This could be a breakthrough or news about the industry that you work in, or perhaps the group of people that you're in, the community that you're in, that's actually kind of giving you sort of the get-ahead, sort of the inside scoops. You're kind of seeing what's coming around the bend before everybody else. And the Queen of Wands could even be somebody who's already kind of dedicated herself to working for you, in a sense. You know, she could be an accountant, she could be a publicist, she could be a realtor, but she's got some kind of inside information that she's actually going to be sharing with you this week that you can take advantage of, that may actually produce some kind of extra result. But she is, you know, doing it because, again, she's out there pushing your agenda, so be prepared to, you know, to have gratitude in action ready. For your challenge this week with fire, we do have the Five of Swords reversed. And this card can indicate a need to pay attention to where your challenge this week is actually making amends when amends are being made with you. Okay? Sometimes that's tough to do. Sometimes we're content to have a cold war, you know, or a cold shoulder type of war with somebody, you know, and, you know, for the rest of our lives. Sometimes we'd rather just walk a big circle, never be in the same place at the same time. I get it. But with the Five of Swords reversed, when somebody's trying to make amends and break bread with you, that means that that uncomfortable feeling that makes you feel like you have to walk a big circle, that makes you feel like you have to leave the room, is going to go away. Or hopefully it will. You know, because the Five of Swords reversed is talking about people being willing and able to actually make that peace, you know, and have that improvement. And this may be a transition that the Swan card is talking about when it comes to handling our perception of our own environment and the social company we keep. It may not necessarily be an easy thing to do because, you know, we may still be holding on to some associations and some anger with that person that could be recent or far back. But your challenge is accepting the idea that somebody's trying to make peace with you. Maybe you're not ready to make peace with them, that's okay, but they're trying to make peace with you. For your emotions, excuse me, I already did Earth. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, you've got the Page of Swords upright. And you may be caught off guard this week when a crush or a partner, somebody you're interested in, starts to take a lot of interest in what you normally do just all by yourself. Okay, not like in a crazy surveillance, stalkery kind of way, but more in, I'm genuinely interested, I want to be included in this activity, I don't know how, so I'm going to be, you know, Mr. or Ms. Inquisitive. And this could actually be kind of nice to have, you know, I mean, this does look like something that you and your partner could actually share. Maybe it's something you didn't think he or she cared about or paid enough attention to, even though it was very important. But the Page of Swords upright is bringing that opportunity. For those of you who are single and looking, you may actually find that somebody who you share this activity with, or somebody who shares a similar artistic or spiritual academic passion as you, may be crossing your path this week. And with the Page of Swords upright, that may be exactly how we break the ice. So that is your horoscope, Sagittarius. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you ever want to get a session with me, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.